What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. We're back at it again with another episode of the Why I'm Geeked show, episode 141 with your homies AJ and Chrissy Light. Today, we're gonna take things a little back, not too far, just to last year. One of the movies that both of us wanted to see, but just didn't get a chance to, over the break or holiday break. But Godzilla Minus One came out on Netflix over the past weekend, and we saw it. So we're going to be giving our takes on it today. But before we do, how you feeling today, Brody?
Man, I'm getting sick.
Oh man,
I got a cough. It's gonna happen tonight. Right before you get sick, you feel it come about, and then as soon as you go to sleep, you wake up and it's horrible. That's about to happen to me, man. It's about to happen to me. So I got a little cough drop and got a little drink to help me get through this podcast. But today is gonna be the last time I feel good, and I've accepted my fate. How you doing, G?
I'm chilling. I'm perfectly healthy.
I'm happy for you.
But yeah, I took a little break over the last week, little week. Didn't really do too much lifting, so I'm feeling fresh, ready to go in, hit 225 tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Flex.
Assisted, but it is what it is. But yeah, let's talk about some Godzilla, bro. So I don't remember if this is the movie or if it was Godzilla Kong, where they was like, we never seen a Godzilla look like this. Was it this one? I feel like it was this one.
It was this one.
Not gonna lie, bro. Like, initial, first few moments or whatever, not really impressed. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Not really impressed. Like, I don't know if it's the realism of it, or the fact that it kind of looks like a dog in the face, or what. But the initial Godzilla we see on the island, we first meet our heroes. It just was like, am I watching the right movie? This doesn't really feel like Godzilla to me. It look a little small. You know what I'm saying? So but it was still cool, Yeah, it was very thematic, but it was just like it was just a lot of waiting, for something to really happen. But it was some cool foreshadowing and just like a good setup for the movie for me. But it was just like I was just kind of waiting for Godzilla to become Godzilla the whole time. That's kind of where I was at with it. But what was your first initial impressions of this jump?
Shockingly the same. I sat there like, yo, what am I watching? Is this the right movie? I had to triple check because they'd be having like those random Godzilla movies on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, please tell me this is Minus One.
Yeah.
And seeing him tiny, I was like, dang, this man's gonna be tiny the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this can't be the movie everybody was talking about, bro.
Yeah.
This cannot be. And then the main character done passed out, and I was like, oh man, is this gonna be like a slow burn or what? So I was a little nervous when I first saw it. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. I am watching on my TV.
Yeah.
I opened up Netflix on my phone to triple check. This thing looked even better on my phone. I was about to switch. I was like, something about this Godzilla on my TV looked extra trash, and then the phone version looked a little bit better.
Compressed pixels a little bit better.
Yeah, it helped me out. It helped me out. So I was like, okay, I'm still gonna give it a chance. But I kind of felt the same way. It just felt weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for me, it wasn't so much because usually with like monster movies and stuff like that, my biggest thing I'm looking for is just like how dark it is, because they like to hide a lot of stuff in the nighttime, which is like, I don't remember which Godzilla movie it was, but like one of the
OG one,
the OG ones, yeah, it was super dark. and it was just
Yeah.
like you only saw him when he lit up for real, for real. And I was just like,
Mhm.
bruh, what was the point of watching this? Like, because one thing I've noticed about this movie is that it's called Godzilla, but it's mainly about the people that are experiencing Godzilla. So it was just like it was more about their story in the midst of dealing with Godzilla the whole time. So for it to be a lot of it to be in the daytime, it did look good. I was watching on my iPad while I was watching it. It never was a thing where it's like it looked muddy or it looked dark. It was just like it looked small for the first go, like the first
Yeah, yeah. He
appearance.
is small.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
So
it was jarring because I was like, bruh,
mhm.
what is happening?
Yeah, so this movie takes course over a long period of time. Um, Decent amount of time. I'm like right after the war, and we don't really get an introduction to like baby Godzilla, like when the experiment happened or anything, but you just get the notion of like, all right, he's already been a legend, but it's just like a constant growth
Yep.
from year to year essentially. And it's a lot of lore in here as well that I was not expecting. As far as like, I think my favorite thing was just the fact that like Godzilla's around when you see the deep sea fish that you're not really supposed to see at this level. I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Like, I wasn't expecting that. But um, as far as the cast and what they're going through or um talking about, I think the whole war torn country and like poverty angle or whatever, it was like it was cool to see them go from like not rags to riches, but like start out with nothing. Everybody down bad from the bombings and stuff like that to like you get to see them progressively build up and you know become whatever Tokyo is in Kanto and all the different cities to be. So for me, it was just more so like, okay, I get what kind of movie this is going to be. Godzilla is in it, but it's not like Godzilla Kong, where essentially like they're the real stars. The real star is the people. You know, that's like my first take. How like what do you say to that as far as narrative wise? I guess.
I mean, definitely, because I saw Godzilla New Empire
Hmm.
2 3 months ago,
Yeah.
so it's definitely just automatically a different feel type movie.
Hmm.
And I thought, I mean, I watched it all subbed. Did you watch it dubbed?
Mm-mm. I watched this up.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So uh for me, I thought it was really, really cool because it really felt like after the war, now we're watching these people in Japan dealing
Yeah.
with the aftermath. Like everything felt really authentic and like,
Hmm.
damn, like,
They down bad.
yeah, like the whole premise of Godzilla is literally this family had everything ruined because
Hmm.
of war
They're not even
and Godzilla.
technically a family.
Yeah.
Like they're
And
just
we're
displaced
seeing
people.
we're seeing how a family
Hmm.
would try to recover from it, and over this course of time, not only do they recover it, we see other people recover from it, and then it all get taken away in an instant again, and
Hmm.
it's essentially the same thing that would happen in any type of war. Like
Yeah.
for the peacetime, we're all getting better, but hey, in 10 years we don't know where the world's going to be at. Boom, everything is all gone.
Hmm.
Now our family's not together. Maybe this wasn't the right move, or
Yeah.
and it could be completely out of your control. So it's just like this type of movie actually does have some meaningful thing.
Hmm.
And I just watched another Godzilla where it's like, yo, that is not what
Yeah.
we're talking about there.
Just
So
trying to
it's
see
just
some cool
really,
stuff happen.
yeah. So let's go see some cool stuff happen. And then
Yeah.
this one's like, all right, let's see if we craft a story around these people
Hmm.
dealing with
Loss.
Godzilla,
Yeah.
loss, the aftermath of Godzilla just haunting the main character.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I'm like, bro, you still dreaming about Godzilla
Bruh.
a year later? Really?
Yeah.
But it's a part of it, and even just like you said, he's still just like a legend.
Hmm.
Like, oh yeah, there's a Godzilla around here. I don't
That's
know.
crazy. No way. Like,
So
like,
it's just really cool because we've seen so many Godzilla movies, but
yeah.
yet they're somehow able to make another one where not
Hmm.
only am I getting more lore, more creativity, baby Godzilla,
Yeah.
it just feels fresh automatically, and I was like, wow. And coming off the start where I'm like, bro, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, is this actually gonna be good? Like it was a little cheesy where I was like,
Yeah. I was like, yo, this is bad Jurassic Park movie, bro. Like, that's what it
because this
felt
man
like.
kept doing the chomp, the bite down, chomp.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He
was
was doing
like,
like three
what is
times, bro.
happening? Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just so weird because deep down this movie has so much, and we
Hmm.
started from there, and then we have another Hollywood version that's just not even the same stratosphere of narrative and characters that we just met.
I mean, if you look at the posters, compared to side by side, like going into Godzilla Minus One, I thought it was gonna be in black and white. That's how like OG I thought they was finna go. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Just because of the the art on the poster and just like how like compared to Godzilla Kong 2, it was like way less colorful.
hmm
But it was just like it's a like you saying it's a different vibe. And one of the things that like was a common theme for the main character, which we can get into a little bit now, is like his war wasn't over. So like essentially, he was a kamikaze pilot that essentially got scared and said that something was wrong with his engine and decided to land on this random island for repairs while everybody else went to go fight. Essentially,
yep,
he was a
very much
coward.
go die. Yep,
Yeah. And that was eating at him. And then for him uh to have this meeting of Godzilla and being the only one that can really fight it, but still at the time being so scared that he couldn't do it essentially, and was like left again as like one of the lone survivors,
lone survivor. Yep.
and had to live with that guilt of like coming home and then being like, yo, everybody treating you like, oh yeah, you went to war, like, oh, much respect, but then like in the back of your head, like, bro, yo,
Yeah, you didn't do nothing.
I ain't even do nothing for real.
Everyone
Like
else that
they know,
died is the one who did it.
yeah, if they knew what I did and who I was supposed to be, they wouldn't be saying this to me. So like that was one of the things that they kept harping back on, and really surprised me at like initially it was very annoying, just because like you were saying, like, bro, like this man still having nightmares, and I don't know what it is. Like his acting wasn't very convincing at first. Like it was definitely like a slow build as far as like who he was
Hitting the right
becoming
notes.
essentially. Yeah, like as we get to see him like start to deal with those things and like getting some similar stuff, like, all right, I'm actually doing something now. Like you can see him starting to come out of the shell, but this stuff was still eating at him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it was one of those things where like you grew an attachment to him, but it wasn't an attachment where I was just like, yo, this is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he gonna do it. Like he can make it work. It was more so like, bro, get it together, man. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, that was the main character, and then after that, essentially, uh, he went home and found his home was destroyed, and this random lady was running with the baby,
Yep.
and that's how we get this new family. It's a very Spy Family esque situation, where they become this blended family. Um,
They're
and
not together.
they're not together, and they just are trying to make it essentially. He finds some work with some mines, and that's where he meets the captain of this little rinky dinky ship, and the doctor and the kid.
Mhm.
Can't give you the names because I don't know how to say them all, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But essentially, they have been trying to kill Godzilla and stop him from attacking and keeping him out of the city by essentially not only using the bombs but actually deactivating them as well. That's how it started essentially, and then they when Godzilla comes, it's like, oh no, we can use these to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it was a very long movie to get to those moments, but once we got them, I feel like they lived up to the hype of what they
Definitely.
said they were going to be. So I don't want to give y'all the whole story, but that's a quick like intro to essentially like what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's
Um,
definitely it's weird to gauge like what are we doing
yeah,
in this movie after the first 15 minutes because you're kind
hmm
of like I don't know what I'm getting into here
yeah,
because it's like now we're dealing with tiny Godzilla and now he's gone
hmm
and it's not like we're in a big thriving city.
yeah,
It's already destroyed from the get go. So that
hmm
was a good like synopsis to kind of get us somewhere in the story.
yeah. You get to see them progressively like get some bread, find some work, and then really start to build a life together without being really together. Um, so it's just like when I think about this movie, there's certain portions where it's like, okay, the romance of I think her name is Noriko and the pilot, it's like it's more so implied than anything. It's just like, okay, if you've been together this long, like, yeah, eventually y'all are gonna, end up together. But it's not really acted on. It's more so active, like, why not? Haven't you made her an honest woman? And those are the type of conversations that they're having. Just because like he's doing this dangerous work, you know, and it's just like you don't if you don't come back, then it's like what they gonna do, you know?
Hmm.
You got a whole baby, so it's just like that family aspect, and um, then it's like randomly, it's like okay, Godzilla side, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's very hot and cold, um, as far as like what the pacing has to do with it. One thing that we talked about earlier, which is like some of the lore and stuff like that with it, really had me thinking about just Godzilla because this movie was more so about Godzilla as a freaking force of nature and like
Yeah.
animal than like a hero or a villain. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they talked about Godzilla as it would be intended to as far as like scientifically. You know what I'm saying? Where there was talks of like, yeah, the reason why Godzilla attacks enemy ships or ships in general is because they're in his territory. So he has to assert dominance, and we get to see Godzilla from being a baby or a toddler or whatever you want to call him to growing up to being this huge thing. And I was just like, okay, this is a cool take because usually it's just like, yo, Godzilla coming. What we gonna do?
Hmm.
You know? So um I like that. I like that aspect of the movie a lot more than I was expecting. Just because like it got me to just to thinking of like how does Godzilla really work, bro? Like, so I want to ask you, bro, how do you think Godzilla is able to stand up in the water, bro?
Well, I was thinking that when I was watching the movie,
Yeah.
but this man is just flipping his legs left
Okay.
and right while
Mm-hmm.
steady still. But I think that's just an effect that there, some nostalgia from old Godzilla stuff where he's like pretty much standing in shallow water, but in reality here, this
Yeah.
dude is just in the
In the
middle of the
ocean.
ocean
Yeah.
floating.
Yeah. So I think it's more so like since he's a reptile, right? He's like a dinosaur, crocodile, alligator mix where you know how like the alligators, like when you go to little parks or whatever, they'll like hold the piece of chicken out over the edge, and they'll wait for the joint to come up, and the alligator will slowly move up and then shoot up out the air. I
Mm.
think it's more so like a tail thing. Not so much he's down there just
Well,
kicking.
you've seen a crocodile underwater, like they're
Yeah, like
sometimes
how
they're
their
like that.
body,
Yeah,
yeah, how their body they go vertical essentially
yeah,
and use their like almost like how they show kangaroos in like TV shows
sure.
and stuff, how they bounce around, but like more so it's like a tail thing than
Yeah, the
like
lunge.
yeah, than anything. But it's just like I never thought about it until then because they were just out in the water. He was just able to stand up, you know. And I actually looked it up, and it was like a Reddit thing of like
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
it was like a drawing, right, of like what we think Godzilla's doing underwater, which is like what you said, kicking his feet real fast, right? But then the next diagram was just him having extra long legs that reach the sea floor, and it's just
Oh
like
my gosh.
he's just he's not top heavy, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it's just like I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like I don't know, like that's where my brain was going while we was watching. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I wasn't really invested in the whole family thing, just because like he wasn't really invested. Like if they get together, they get together. But it was more so like I'm just trying to learn as much as I can about Godzilla and see how they really gonna beat this junk.
Yeah.
Cause the whole regenerative qualities like he has, be able to regenerate, was like, yo, I don't. It makes sense, but I don't really remember him regenerating like this. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't do it that way, but I thought it was really really creative because I'm like,
mm-hmm.
oh yeah, this dude not getting killed. Like this guy is
Yeah,
strong. Because as soon
yeah,
as that happened, I was like, this makes so much sense why
mm-hmm.
he's just free all the time.
Unkillable.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like he always wins, bro. He always comes back. And it was just like because you've seen him and this seen him from the beginning till now, essentially, of like his atomic breath and just seeing how that works and like it actually hurts him to use it. And I was just like, oh, so they're not really hurting him. He hurting himself to do this thing.
Mm.
Right? So it makes sense that if he's always doing it, then uh he'll eventually like just get stronger and stronger and stronger. Because it's like basically Cell, you know, like with
Sure.
Piccolo. And it's just like even though he's gonna regenerate, that doesn't mean that it don't hurt. You
Mm-hmm.
know? So I was just having those thoughts while I was watching it. Um what was your favorite thing that you saw Godzilla do in this jump?
I mean, I when my favorite thing was when he did the stomp and the
Mm,
floor like lifted up and I saw the people like lift up also. I
yeah.
just never really seen that in Godzilla movie where it
Mm-hmm.
was crazy like that. And
Yeah.
it just showed like how like heavy his feet would be and how
Mm-hmm.
crazy him walking around just stomping on people would
Slow
be
mo. Yeah.
because it's like right next to it and he's just like making just like huge earthquakes. I'm like, dang, like this is devastating. Him just walking, and he's walking
Yeah.
hella weird, just like thump, thump,
Yeah.
thump, and but under his feet is like real earthquakes. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my favorite, just because I just never felt like I've actually saw that.
Yeah.
But I mean that atomic breath, bro,
Devastating.
it looked so good.
Yeah, it did.
Like that's that's so much better
Mm-hmm.
than the other Godzilla series version of Atomic Breath because the other one's just pretty much fire.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a
which
little
is
beam.
which is what he does, but
Yeah.
that was literally a nuke.
Yes, bro. Yeah.
Like it was just so pretty too,
Mm-hmm.
man. So you know what? I'm gonna give him a clap because I was mesmerized when they did it, and then they did it again, and I was like, oh
And they
my
did it
god.
again.
Yeah, they did it 3 times total, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so cool, and it's definitely the best Atomic Breath I've ever seen. Even though it's probably not how it's supposed to be like, but it's just super cool to
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
but because it's the sound really that like takes it over the top too. Because it's like for me, my favorite part is really just like when he's charging.
dude, the
The
charging too.
charging part is like, oh my gosh, he about to blow these niggas up. Like they don't
Yeah,
even know what's coming, you know. And it's like, because it's like for me, like when he blew up the city or whatever, and something specific happens, right? I'm not gonna say what happens if you haven't seen the movie yet, but essentially, bro broke the cardinal rule. Supposed to have your lady on the inside of the street, but that's all I'm gonna say. When that happened and he blew up that freaking town, like you said, it was like a nuke. It was just like dum 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 dum, and the scales was just like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You start to see the blue. I was like, yo, this is Godzilla right here. Like
yeah,
that joint was tough, bro.
and it looked good.
Yeah, it was
Like, it
like
looked cool.
it was crazy, bro.
Ah,
He still looked like a freaking Labrador though, and I don't know why. Cheeks was
yeah.
too chubby.
It just reminds me so much of OG Godzilla,
Mm-hmm.
because he looked really strange back then. Like, they
Yeah,
didn't want him to look
fortunate type.
uh like more reptile like we're used to now. Because that was like
Yeah,
a big thing when that Godzilla movie came out, that they made him look very like crocodile-ish.
yeah.
Um
Because his arms were short too. Like usually,
yeah,
like in what you call it, John, he basically like Broly. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
exactly,
he
yeah.
could do
Everyone
whatever
was
he
like,
wanted to
what
do.
is okay, sure, this is got real life Godzilla.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the puppy dog look, it does remind me of like the OG Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of had a smile and everything. But this one did not look friendly at all. Like a puppy
Mm-mm.
dog, evil looking one.
Yeah. It's like when the doc was like, yeah, like so he was asking like, so when do you think he's gonna be back? And he was like, since he came here and won, he probably considers this his territory now. So he probably got about a week. I was like, oh man, like if that's the case, because like we don't never get Godzilla's thoughts for real. Like there's no
Yeah.
narration for him or anything like that. It's like it's up to them to tell us what to really expect, and even then, they don't really know everything that has to do with
And
Godzilla.
and I think that's what makes this movie really good, is it reminds me of the first Godzilla movie when we're just learning about him going out fighting the other kaiju and stuff like that,
Hmm.
when how we're tracking him, where he's coming from.
Yeah,
It was interesting learning about him, and in this one,
this is back
just
in the
like
day
that.
too.
Yeah, this is kind of like our first encounters. What are we gonna try? How does a mine work? Okay, that doesn't work. Do
Hmm.
we have any other plan?
Yeah.
Like, this dude's already destroyed Tokyo, and Tokyo, or Japan, and Japan's already destroyed.
Hmm.
Like, we don't have a lot of stuff to fight a a gigantic lizard that
Yeah.
shoots nukes.
Hmm.
So like, what else can we come up with? And
Yeah.
it's just so interesting to see this version, because I feel like I've seen so many Godzilla movies already,
Hmm.
yet I just watched this one and it feels brand new. Like, I learned so much, and like you said, something
Yeah.
as small as the little fish arriving means Godzilla is
It's
nearby
near.
or coming.
Giving Jaws, bro.
Yeah, it gives that Jaws feeling, and then when he arrives,
Anticipation. Yeah.
it feels the same way too. You're like, y'all, are y'all really gonna survive this thing?
Yeah.
Like, he kind of feel like he playing with y'all. Like,
Right. Right. Yeah. I 100% agree with that because like the other thing that really spoke to me about like just the way they were going about trying to defeat Godzilla is like, yo, we know that we can't really beat him with the weapons that we got right now. You know what I'm saying? But we got to figure out a way to do it because it's just like this is it. This is life or death, you know? And
yeah.
what separates this from other movies as well is that like this is a citizen effort, because they go
Mhm.
into like how the government works and like the, just the way that they go about um politics and war and things like that. Nothing too heavy, but just gives you enough so you get the sense of like, okay, yeah. So they don't necessarily um care. I don't want to say care about their people, but like the country is more important than the people, essentially.
Yeah, they were hiding
Um,
Godzilla in the movie.
yeah, exactly. And even like from the way that they, from the kamikaze planes, so like not having ejector seats, to
The
um ha-
armor.
yeah, the armor being weak and like on purpose and stuff like that, and then like the infrastructure being terrible, and like how everything went to ruin after the war, and money wasn't money no more for, like, it was a whole bunch of little things in there that they put subtly, but enough to where it's like you get the sense of like, okay, when the people come together, they can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, for them to say like, yeah, we're gonna beat him with essentially the power of the ocean, which is his
Mhm.
own domain. I was like, oh, like, nah, y'all different. Like, how y'all
Mhm.
gonna beat him with the ocean? Like, even if the math or the science don't
I mean,
science, it's
when
just
you
like,
look up the ocean and how scuba divers do things, how submarines do things,
mm-hmm,
you don't realize how dangerous going down into the ocean is.
yeah,
Like you gotta go up a certain level, then decompress, and then continue to go up. So like it's just another creative way that makes me say like, yeah, I really like it because there's more meaning to that.
mm-hmm,
Everything you just said is more meaning to, okay, the people themselves are taking it into their hands, um, especially involving where Japan was at.
yeah,
Like this has happened before to countries where it's like, where do we go from here? We have nothing. We're starting all the way over,
yeah,
and yet you still want me to work, and
mm-hmm,
now we have a new threat, and somehow
yeah. Can't get
we're
aid, can't get nothing. Like,
yeah, can't get nothing.
yeah,
But it's like, how else are we gonna do it? We gotta do it together. I mean,
mm-hmm,
because if not, we're done. Like,
yeah. It's
so
not about.
I just think there's a lot when you watch this movie that you can come back to and be like, oh, you know what? I could look at it this way. Or I could look at it this way, or even
Yeah,
uh the mom kind of pretty much saying like, oh, I'm just gonna start my new life in this city,
mhm,
and I hope everything goes good and it's a good start. You'll
yeah,
never find a wife with me being around,
yeah,
and that Joan followed her
mm-hmm,
like right in that city. Everything looked great in the city, right?
yeah. Grass is always greener, right? So
Yeah, always greener.
crazy, bro,
So
crazy.
I just think the more and more you deep dig into this movie, like you can find a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Um, and yeah, I was really excited to see how they would defeat Godzilla from the beginning. And as it went further on, I was like, bro, y'all in serious trouble because this one looked
Yeah,
even stronger than the last movies.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Because it's like, as much as they plan and as much as they had science back in what they had to do down, and they had contingency plans, and then you had the obvious, you know, thing that like the pilot has been building up for the whole movie. It's like, yo, I'm finally gonna, I find one war is finally gonna end. So you know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Um, for it to continuously build up to that, it's just like, bro, y'all going I never thought they was gonna win, bro. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest. Like, it was
I didn't
just
think that would
like,
win.
there's no way. Regardless of everything that we had seen up until this point, like y'all are able to damage him, but obviously he's able to regenerate. Like, there's no
He's
way.
Wolverine.
He's Wolverine, exactly, bro. And I'm like, yo, he finna just come back stronger. And it's just like, yo, there's nothing that you can do.
and gently stomp and flail his tail around the city, and there ain't nothing y'all can do. Like,
Uh,
he,
like y'all are just like, why didn't they run to the left or to the right, bro? Everybody was just running straight. That's
yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of
mob
like I said, a
mentality.
lot of stuff in this is wonky
Yeah.
and a little quirky, but I think it's on purpose because of nostalgia of how
Godzilla movies were.
original Godzilla movies are
Okay.
portrayed and were. So I sort of get it. That's why I like the idea of him like stomping, and I see new stomp effects or the tail just obliterating things.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh wow, this is really cool, but it also does have that OG feel.
hmm Even the chomps, bruh. The chomps were good too.
Yeah,
It's like, like
so I haven't seen like the OG ones. That has to be something because it was just blatant like
yeah, they doing
chomp.
this a lot. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, yo, you good, Godzilla? Like,
Right.
this is the
Like,
only way for you to chomp on people? And it wasn't like them splitting them in half. It was literally like
yeah.
he's and toss it.
He's just killing them. Like he's not there to eat them. Like
Yeah,
he's there
like,
to assert dominance, bro. You know what I'm
bro.
saying?
Hey, you're right, bro. That's another meaning too, because that's dark.
It's super
I'm
dark,
not gonna
bro.
kill you. I'm just gonna toss you around left and right and
Yeah.
see what y'all humans do.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just go back in the water, bro.
Go back in the water.
I'm gonna just come back next week, do it all over again, bro.
Do it all.
Like
Yeah,
that's what's
you're a
crazy
true
about this
menace,
jump.
bro. You're a true
That's
menace.
that's so crazy, bro. Cause it's like even even when I think about some of the other themes that they used in this movie, like the meaning of life, right? And how that gets tossed around a lot just because of the main character being so um struck with grief and struck with like just being, you know, down bad because he just didn't do what he said he was going to do. For him to be like, for the eventual switch to be like, you know, I want to
For him
die
to
for my
even move on.
country. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to live for the people I have, essentially. You
yeah.
know, because it's like if it wasn't through him, it was through the other kid that was just like always talking about like, yeah, I didn't get to go to war. I was too young. Da 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 da. I was like, bro, that's a privilege, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know how good you got it. Like,
Hmm.
I still want to fight. Da, 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 da. So there's a lot of good things about this movie. Still think it was a little too long for me for like what they actually did, but
Yeah, a little bit after the first beam attack,
mhm,
it kind of slowed down for me, and I was like, all right, I'm cool. What we're doing, I get it. It's more of building up this political and mind state of the overall people and how we're feeling after another attack.
yeah,
But it took quite a while to get to that third part.
like how many times do I need to see him pulling up on his motorbike, bro?
Yeah.
He was doing that a lot. I was like, bro, they keeps using the same scene, but it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Do you want to talk about how the actual last fight went? Or do you want to save that? You think that's too specific?
Man, y'all. Uh, I don't know. I think it's pretty specific, but
Like too specific, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I think I just got to watch that part.
Yeah, I feel like you should just watch the movie because I do think it's definitely worth a watch, and especially
hmm
on streaming, it's definitely a good time to watch
Yeah.
it, and uh, I think it brings a really good third act to the movie
hmm
that makes it worth that really weird beginning
Yeah.
and some of the family stuff and
A lull.
the boat characters, the boat crew. Like I
hmm
think that last act is a good how you should wrap up movies or how you should uh
hmm
push all these narratives to a single point. So watch the movie. It's worth it.
Yeah. Um. Last thing then. It's not necessarily an end credit, but I just want to hear what you think about the little,
Itch, the itch.
the little lines on Shorty neck, bro.
Oh, I didn't know what that meant, bro. I was gonna look it up after I watched it.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you? I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's like confirmed. You know what I'm
Okay, go ahead,
saying?
go ahead, go ahead.
So essentially, Noriko or the Noriko, right? Noriko gets bodied, right? Not gonna tell
Yep.
you what happened, but she got bodied. But she miraculously recovers.
Oh.
Now,
Oh.
why she recovered and like how that actually happened is still unknown. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But from what they're saying, essentially it's called G cells. It was
Okay.
Godzilla cells. Somehow she got Godzilla cells. I don't know how, but that's why he was able to survive.
Oh,
Essentially.
that's interesting. That's interesting because I saw that and I was just
Yeah.
like,
What is that?
yeah, I was like, I really don't know what that is,
Yeah.
and I don't think I missed something. Like I was thinking maybe I didn't read something right when the doctor or
Hmm.
the scientists were explaining something. Like I thought I
Yeah.
missed a small part, but
Hmm.
that's good. I'm definitely gonna look that up now.
Yeah. It's just like, bro, I ain't even
That
have
makes sense too.
I ain't even have to like when the moment happened and when she got the letter, I was like, there's no way.
I was so
I was
like
mad. I was
confused. I
like,
was
bro,
like, who else is writing letters? This don't make no sense.
yeah.
At this time, this don't make any sense.
I was like, then he doubled back. Like
Yeah, that's why I
that's
was
what I
like,
was thinking.
why would he send another letter?
Yeah. I'm just
My
like,
dumb
bro,
self.
there's no way. Like, and then you see the little
Yeah,
so don't know how she got it, but she did, you
yeah.
know? Maybe Godzilla saw her heroic effort and was like, you,
You.
you're the chosen one. You know what I'm saying? So that was crazy. Um, and then I don't think the other part is super wild. I don't think we need to mention it just because it's like
Nah, but it was really really solid way to like end it,
end
and I
it.
was like, all right, bet.
Yeah, 'cause it's not over.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Essentially,
freaking Godzilla.
yeah. Like so, y'all have to just go watch that part. But dope movie, man. Dope movie. Um,
Yeah, yeah, definitely dope movie.
any any last takes before we get into these scores?
A million times better than New Empire. I can't wait till that comes on
Wow.
streaming.
Yeah, I want to see that still.
Um, it's just amazing how I feel like you know this is how directors should think about movies. How can we do a movie that's been done multiple times? How can we make it fresher? How can we make it new? How can we make it have meaning? How can we make it have characters that you don't have to like necessarily care about, but like
Yeah.
you wonder where this is going.
Hmm.
Where will this kid end up? Where will this woman end up?
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole movie, I'm sitting there like, dang, everybody moving in new directions. Um, and I just feel like this is how directors are supposed to come up with ideas that make it interesting, fun, and enjoyable to watch through. And
Yeah.
geez, when I think about these last couple Godzilla movies, Hollywood just handing out paychecks, bro. They just be handing them out. Said, hey, make Godzilla do some cool stuff. Make Donkey
Yeah.
Kong over there do some cool stuff, and we
Not
good.
Donkey Kong.
Might as well,
We're gonna
man.
add Clifford in there too. Then
Yeah,
just
hey,
to
King
throw
Kong
back.
versus Donkey Kong. I bet you Hollywood would greenlight that.
Hey
Hey,
man,
I wouldn't put it past them.
they
But
green light Madam Web, so anything is possible, bro.
yeah,
But okay, that's what's up, bro. Yeah, I can't really say too much to that. I mean, outside of that, because you said you wrapped it up perfectly, bro. Um, but I'm gonna try real quick. So while I was watching Godzilla, minus one, I was thoroughly entertained, but it was like watching it sub. Um, I had to do some rewinding because they were saying a lot. You know what I'm
I
saying?
did
So
too.
like
I did too.
being able to do that at the crib versus like not being able to do that at the theater, that might have played into a factor because cause I was just able to go back and rewatch it again. Um, but I think as far as like you were saying, where they made a movie where it's like you care about Godzilla and you don't necessarily care about all the people there in it, but more so like what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And because if you think about it, the only person that really got a background is the main character, and who got a backstory and things like that. It's fully surfaced around him. Even just like the little baby, bruh. Like little baby had me geek when it was crying because it was just like,
Give
all
me
right.
flashbacks, bro.
Just like, all right, cry real quick.
Yo.
Nah. And it was there was portions where it's like, bro, I can't even hear y'all talking.
I swear. I swear.
Like y'all didn't say nothing. You just put that on the screen, bro. Like because it's talking so softly. So there's definitely things in this movie that are not like perfect, but it's just a right amount of wonkiness that was like, I just think it's pretty good. Like I get the hype, and as far as authenticity goes, like this is very Godzilla-esque, like of what you when you don't turn Godzilla into a superhero essentially, and it's just a monster. Like they did that really well. So I think this genre was pretty good. What score are you giving it, bro?
This one's tough for me, bro. Because I deep down, I gotta see this movie again.
Okay.
I gotta watch it again. I automatically do think it was better than the first two Godzilla movies of the new generation. So that being said, I probably do think it is a 10 out of 10 movie. Like
Wow.
I don't know if you can make a better Godzilla movie than this unless he just moves better,
Yeah.
Like cuz he moves
Has more
wonkily.
scenes like of
Yeah.
doing
But I
things.
think the cool chase scene where he's in the water and then it blows off a part of his mouth is cool.
Yeah.
Him biting through the battle stations.
No, the light cutoff was hard. We didn't talk about that. But
Yeah.
that part was probably
Yeah.
my favorite part of the movie. I was just like, oh, because it was so sudden, bro. But yeah.
So it's just like and then just the nuke. I can't
Yeah.
believe like I need to see that on like a better screen.
Okay.
Um But yeah, deep down, I don't know after seeing all the other Godzilla movies if it's just bumping it up for me. I don't know if you're gonna get better than this. And to be honest, even seeing Godzilla in this universe where they're recovering after war during this wartime, and you're
Yeah.
dealing with this even bigger problem, like I
It's
think
more
that's a even
complete.
good element to put him in. Like
Mm-hmm.
it just makes it seem so impossible to defeat him.
Yeah. A
And
lot more believable type beat.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then kind of like, oh, okay, now we're all gonna figure out this new creature and defeat Godzilla. That
Yeah.
being said, I do want to watch the original one because I thought that was a really good movie. But I do remember it being super dark. I do remember Godzilla not being it as much.
Yeah.
And I remember the final battle not even being that great. Like Godzilla spits fire and defeats
Mm-hmm.
the kaiju. So it's kind of like maybe there is a better Godzilla minus one where he's same Godzilla fighting another kaiju.
Yeah.
But I think story fighting Godzilla, this is the element in which
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla shines the brightest. So I'll give it a 10. I'll give it a 10.
Yeah. Because Godzilla goes from being a monster to being a defender.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I think I like this element better. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
as soon as he becomes a defender,
Too
maybe
much
that movie is not
plot
as
armor.
good as it. Yeah, maybe it's not as good as I think it could be.
Okay.
Because now that I know he's gonna regenerate too, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? It
To
that
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 degree.
Yeah, to this degree,
Yeah.
it doesn't make it as cool fighting another kaiju. But
Mm-hmm.
versus the humans, versus the state of the country of Japan, it's like, yo, y'all are in danger. Like,
Yeah.
what is our plan as a group? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the back saying we done.
Yeah.
I'm
We're
about to
cooked.
walk out this meeting because we ain't beating Godzilla, y'all.
Yeah.
So
Because it wasn't even like a science movie either. Because that's where a lot of these
yeah.
joints, these
It's like a
movies
war
end up.
movie.
Yeah, it's like more like a war movie. Um, because before it was like, okay, Godzilla has existed for this amount of time. We need to study him
Hmm.
more so than just destroy him.
Yeah.
Because it's survival at this point. But it's like, yeah, I gotta see the new joint, the Kong joint. Gotta
And
see.
I might be affected by it, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, because
Yeah.
after watching this, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, I don't see the hype right now. And as I
Yeah.
kept going through, I was like, I was just thinking back to the last two Godzilla movies. I was like, I don't think I saw something better than this. Like I was like, I don't think I saw a single scene that made me go, "Oh, Godzilla."
I know for sure, Mecha Godzilla is not it. That's one thing I know for sure, bro. Like, like as much as I like Kong versus Godzilla more than Mecha Godzilla Young. But and just seeing and seeing their what is it called, Middle Earth or something like that.
Yeah,
that's really cool to me. Pantor something.
I can't remember what it's called.
Something like that. But the
Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth. There you go. Yeah. So like that was like that's what drew me into that movie. So then the actual okay. You're giving it a 10. That's crazy to me.
I think so. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of projection here.
Yeah. I feel like you're giving a lot of room. You know what I'm saying? A lot of space to be great. Like but okay. For me, bro, like my heart is saying 8. But after the talk, it could be like an 8.5, 9. Just because it's like when I was watching it, I wasn't necessarily thinking about the older movies. Just because this was set in older times. But it was just like when I think about like the authenticity of like, okay, what is a Godzilla movie supposed to be? What is a monster movie supposed to be? What's supposed to feel like? The level of anticipation, the thriller, the feeling of like, yo, there's nothing that they can do, and what they were able to accomplish within that last arc. But it's just like what it took to get there was not 10 quality to me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Noriko was good. I feel like honestly everybody else was good except the main character as far as like acting wise. Like probably some of the worst crying I've seen, bro. Because it's not even a dub or sub thing for me. It's more so like I feel like he's more so like a better facial actor. No Diddy. Like his facial expressions is what struck me more than anything he ever really said. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I feel like everybody else was putting him on his back, putting them in his backpack just cause like his will to live and stuff like that wasn't even really there. So it's like hard to even, you know what I'm saying? So but that might be a skill in itself. I don't know. It's tough. So I'm gonna just stick with an 8 right now. Maybe if I seen it in theaters and seen it on a big screen, it might have hit different. But I'm gonna go with an 8 right now, just off the Netflix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Still think y'all should watch it though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely good. But
if you can make it past the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. It might take a couple sessions to watch it. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah, I feel like some people might be like, this ain't my speed of Godzilla. If they see that first 20 minutes, they'll be like, because it does feel weird.
You gotta commit.
I feel like you have to commit, and then you're like, oh.
And that's like the beauty of the theater too, because like when you go to a movie theater, you're committing to seeing that thing.
Exactly.
So like that's probably where it's gonna shine the best. But being able to rewind and like dive deeper into it also is a thing too. So it just depends. But let us know what y'all think about Godzilla Minus One in the comment section below. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I enjoyed that joint. But yeah, what you geeked about, bro?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, I pulled the trigger on a crazy purchase.
Oh, okay.
Crazy purchase.
Okay. Baller alert. Let me stop.
We went out and got a 77-inch OLED TV.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm pretty geeked about like watching everything
on that
in a brand new quality, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Chris is
And
never going to the
after
movies
watching,
again.
I know. And after watching Godzilla, I kind of
Yeah.
sat there and said, "Damn, I probably should have waited."
Mm,
But in my mind, I'm like, I cannot wait to like go back and watch so many movies we reviewed,
yeah.
and to see like, does it look better? Is it sharper?
Hmm.
Some movies that we saw in theaters,
Yeah.
scaled down, so I can just see all of it like right there in the living room. So I'm pretty geeked about that. I've been researching heavily.
Hmm.
So we pulled the trigger,
Is it going to
and
boom though? Is it going to boom?
yo, that's the next part. That's the next part because I'm
Oh,
thinking about we getting that sound bar. I'm just trying to
yeah.
make sure I make the right choice because uh
Don't get a Roku.
I just want to make sure I make the right choice. So I got the TV, I got it
Yeah.
right, and
That's what's
uh
up.
I gotta get the sound right next. Um, but yeah, I'm just super geeked about it because a movie like this, when that nuke appeared on screen, I was like, bro, I need to see this on another quality because it
Yeah.
made me think, like you're saying, damn, what would that have been like in theater?
Hmm.
Like, I think that would have been legit. So I can't wait to see a lot of movies that are already available on streaming. I think Dune 2 dropped
Yep.
like last week. I'd love to see that again.
Hmm.
Um, and a new screen would be perfect. So pretty
House of
geeked
the
about that,
Dragons coming out.
bruh. Exactly, exactly.
This is a good
And
month.
yeah, and that is perfect because like shows like that have like dark settings or
Hmm.
like snowy things, and it's
Yeah.
like okay, I get to see like the full range of it, and I just feel like I'm stepping into like a new portal now.
Yeah.
So, and I got the NBA finals to watch it on too. So we'll
Okay.
see how it handles sporting events too.
Ain't gonna help the Washington Wizards.
I don't
I
think
mean,
they'll be on that screen next year.
the
I ain't
Washington
gonna
football
lie.
team Wizards.
Hey, nah. They gonna be on that, lighting it up.
I'm weak. That's what's up
But
though.
what you geeked about, G?
Uh, what am I geeked about, bro? Probably just Haikyuu. Um,
Oh,
I'm gonna go see it on Wednesday because I didn't get a chance to see it over the weekend. But I'm excited about that. I might do a little binge before that, of just like the
okay.
last thing. But even though it's like I know what's like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm saying like it's like this movie is it's like one game essentially.
Gotcha.
So it's just like it's the end of the anime.
Oh, okay. So
So it's
everyone's
like
everyone's hyped
this
for
is the
this.
one, and I've been staying off. Like I haven't been spoiled on anything, so I'm feeling good right now.
For sure, for sure.
And it's just like, yeah, that's probably the thing I'm most excited for. But like you said, we got June is gonna be a good month for TV. We got The Bear, we got House of the Dragon, and we got Acolyte, Star Wars Acolyte that's dropping. I've been
Yeah.
watching The Bad Batch. It's been getting pretty good. Um, and I mean, obviously One Piece too. Like One Piece is
One
still
Piece. I knew you weren't gonna go one pod without saying it. I knew you weren't gonna
like
go
I'm still
one
watching One
pod.
Piece, bro, and it's just so cool, bro. It's so good. But yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, the
You gonna hop
finals is
back on
coming
that
too.
Destiny too? We we
No,
we we at the final shape, bro.
and
We at the final shape.
I can have that, bro. I ain't doing it.
Oh
I
man.
ain't doing it, bro. Cause it's like, bro, if y'all don't know about my Destiny beef, bro, it's really the fact that they made it so essentially you need 6 people to do everything. Not everything, but just like to really experience the
To really
game.
get it. Yep.
And you need people to have all the things,
Yeah. It
you
helps. It
know?
helps out immensely.
So
It's like
it's
a
just
totally
like,
different game.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I could sit there and struggle for a month to two, something like that, and just try to go crazy. Or I could just watch somebody do it, bro. You
Yep.
know? And watch the lore video to figure out what everything is, because Bife's gonna put out another. Well, it's probably gonna be like a 12-hour video next time.
I think it already dropped 2 days ago, bro. I think the catch up dropped already.
Well, yeah, that. But I'm talking about when whatever the new stuff comes.
Oh,
that one's 10 hours. I already started watching that. So
yeah, I was gonna say I turned it on, but I already seen like the beginning, so I was like, oh, I'll recap because I really need to catch up towards the end. But because it's essentially the last. We don't know if it's officially gonna be the last.
Yeah.
I was like, I do want to go through every single little bit because once I experience this, like, I'm assuming this is officially like I'm closing the door, like,
yeah.
Because if they open this door back up, I'm probably gonna take it more seriously. But I don't think they're gonna do it.
You take it more seriously.
Cause like I felt like when we got Destiny 2, we were gonna get a Destiny 3 around the same time frame, and then they didn't. They did like extended.
Right.
So I was like, dang, well I didn't, because I didn't see the major jump from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, I was like, oh, I'll play it, but not really like hardcore, you know? Like I feel like I got Destiny 1.5.
Yeah.
So if they open a 3,
blew up your vault.
Yeah. So it's kind of like doubly of I don't really
off,
want to commit to this anymore when it's not really reciprocating.
No guarantee.
Yeah, and then if they do a 3, I feel like we're actually going to be in a new I don't even, not UI, but just a new game of it. And maybe that would be a good landing point compared to playing Destiny 1.5 the whole time. So
yeah, I can't be mad at it, bro. Like when I look back at Destiny, bro, it's just like, yo,
it was good to us
probably
for a while.
Like my favorite game I ever played.
Yeah,
like
I tell people all the time,
they ruined it, bro. So
I had the most fun playing Destiny with my friends. Like it just had moments that I will never ever get back, and I've only experienced in Destiny.
Yeah, it was different.
It was just so different, and it's time for
like,
it to end.
It was natural too. Like it was just like a game that was like not super hype. Like I didn't even know when it was coming out, and then like when I think it was like I think we went home for winter break. And that's when everybody got it. But it was like nobody. Well, I was told to get it.
A higher level of gameplay. Because the initial one was trash, garbage. But then they unlocked the raid, the coins, the trials. Well, trials, not trials. Iron Banner.
Yeah.
They started adding the game mode, so it was like, yo, this is actually becoming a rotation of. Oh yeah, have you tried this yet? And your friend who dropped it was like, no. What is this? Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wait, it's gone already? Comes back in a few weeks. Like a lot of stuff.
Hey, what's really got today?
Exactly.
Bro, that was a vibe, bro. It was a vibe, but it just like got too hardcore, bro. You know, like where you had to really grind that joint. It's just like
grind.
Once they gave everybody a Gallahorn,
we knew there was an issue. We knew it was an issue. Yep.
Because I was never supposed to have a Gallahorn, bro. That was my lore.
Didn't they give a Gallahorn twice?
Yeah, there was an Iron Banner one, and then there was the one that everybody got when they got the new game.
And that was Iron Wolves or whatever.
House of Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, and so regardless, they were just giving out one of the best all-time greatest.
And it wasn't the best gun anymore. So they ruined it, bro. Soiled it. All right. Well, appreciate y'all for watching once again, man. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're on your favorite audio platforms, leave a 5-star rating, follow the pod, and we'll see y'all next week. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.